maths can wait, you know.
The idea that there's two sides to this and that there's any sort of complication, for us it isn't really a complicated issue. For me at least, it's genocide.
Innocent kids, innocent Muslim kids everywhere in Palestine, Gaza, they're getting killed and it's not right.
And it's not just Muslims as well, it's Christians, it's all those people in Palestine, and this should happen, and obviously we need to do something about it, so we're coming together to protest for the people.
No matter religion, culture, we're here today and we're skipping school to show the government that we hate what they're doing and we want them to call for a ceasefire immediately.
It's giving unbothered. It's giving buddy cop. It's giving enjoy your little parade. But when we show up, it's giving tanks, gas masks, batons, choppers, and trauma. Let's talk about how the police treat white-led protests like a block party, but black-led protests like a war zone.
Thousands of Americans walked out of their jobs, schools, and daily routine in what's being called the Free American Walkout. Social media is flooded with videos, chants, and signs. But for Black Americans, this movement lands differently. They've protested before, they've marched before, they've walked out before, and yet, here we are again. People say this walkout is about freedom, leadership, and the direction of the country. And on the surface, it looks powerful. Streets filled, workplaces empty, cameras rolling. But Black Americans understand something most people are just not realizing. Protest has never been symbolic for us. It has always come with consequences. When Black Americans protest, we aren't praised. We were criminalized. We were surveilled. We were punished. So when America suddenly discovers the power of walking out, many Black Americans are asking where this energy was when they're fighting to stay alive, to vote, to exist without fear.
These hands-off protests was well needed, and thank you and kudos to everybody that showed up out there. But they were mostly white, and guess who else had hands off? The police. You had people marching in the streets, no permit, blocking traffic, and somehow no riot, no gear, no barricade, no helicopters overhead. It looked like a sponsored walk for yoga moms. Police were posted light, like security guards at a Sephora, okay? Standing back, arms crossed, no shield, no helmet. It's giving, let them have their moment, because whiteness ain't seen as a threat. It's seen as orderly expression. Now let's flip to 2020. Black Lives Matter. George Floyd. We protested peacefully. What did we get? Rubber bullets, tear gas, curfew, and a whole damn National Guard. That's what we got for protesting. They met us like we were the enemy of the state. They came ready for war, because when Black people demand justice, the system hears it as a threat, not as a request. Let's be clear, it wasn't the message that brought the cops out during the George Floyd protest. It was the melanin. Same country, same constitution, two different police responses. You think it was a coincidence? Police don't see Black protests as protests. They see it as provocation. They don't show up to de-escalate, they show up to dominate. And that's why so many Black folks are sitting these new protests out, because we know how they treat us when we speak up. And we see how soft they go when y'all do it. It's giving immunity for some. It's giving war zone for others. But more importantly, it's giving news. Drop down the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I really need to hear from you. What do you think, either as a white protester or a Black?
Here today. I'm out here because I'm mad and I want to protect my neighbors. These are all people that I love. And it makes me so mad that my classmates are getting taken every day. Every day we're getting taken. These people, we care. We're so mad. We're so mad.
And hurting.
Yes.
What do you see as some of the solutions for our country and how we move forward from this moment?
We need to find better solutions, to find people to get into the country. No one should be illegal on land that's not even belonging to our government. This isn't our land.
Tell me how you found out about the death of Renee Good and how that impacted you. How did it make you feel?
I think I was just on my phone and I saw it. It was kind of the same way that I kind of found out about George Floyd. I was just scrolling on my phone and it just made me feel violated because no one should have to face a death that cruel.
And what do you think justice looks like?
Justice looks like getting everybody back to their families that got taken wrongfully.
You know why you're not seeing a lot of black people out there protesting against ICE? You know why you're seeing predominantly white people only at these events? It's because back in 2020, the Democrats utilized the black demographic to go out and riot and act a fool. And they said, oh, if you just elect us, we'll give you reparations and we'll force the police to wear body cameras and all these wonderful, amazing things, right? So black people showed up like we are known to do, and we voted up and down for one side of the aisle. And what did we get for it? Nothing, as usual, because many of us never learn. But now, here in 2026, we're seeing individuals who were slavishly devoted to the Democrat Party. Now they're seeing the Democrats over their entire 4 years in office under Joe Biden. They went out of their way to ingratiate themselves to illegal immigrants. And they sometimes prioritized illegal immigrants, even in black communities, ahead of black American citizens. And black people are sitting there saying, wait, you said you were going to give us reparations, you're going to give us X, Y, and Z. And we got nothing for it. So the silver lining is a lot of people are waking up and realizing the Democrats are only courting their next prospective voting bloc. They want to exploit illegal immigrants for an entire generation, much like they've exploited the black community for the previous several generations. And they're daring you to call them out on that and see it for what it is. So if you're wondering why you only see predominantly white liberals out here acting a fool, rioting and protesting against ICE, it's because ICE is threatening their ability to cater to that next demographic that they desperately want to lock in for an entire generation. And that's just the God's honest truth. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you agree. And if you do, let me know in the comment section down below.
This is nuts. This is yeah, and you're right in the middle of this. What the is going on, dude? This is insane.
Have you ever gone out to these sort of things before?
Never. I've never protested in my life. My brother's here. He does it all the time. I've never. I got, dude. Like I said, I'm far enough away, but close enough, and I'm sitting in my cushy house and look at and get mad, and they're just trying to scare people, and but why shoot people? You know what really pisses me off is the fact that they detain people, cuff them, and then still beat the shit out of them. They tell you it's immigrants, only immigrants. It's anybody. I have friends that got detained, and all they were doing was driving home from work. What the
Sounds like you don't fit the definition of the...
No, and I'm not paid to be here like everybody says. What the is that? I gotta work in the goddamn morning, just like everybody else. I'm just here trying to stand up for community, dude. We're all human beings here. I don't give a who you are, where you came from, what color you are. It doesn't matter. This is wrong.
We were right. We were right. For decades, black people in America have been shouting from the rooftops about how cancerous white supremacy would be to America and to the rest of the world. And now that it has infiltrated and is literally sucking the oxygen out of the planet, people are finally starting to wake up to the reality that we've been talking about for decades. But the one thing about it is now since everybody sees it, this is the point in history where it changes.
If you move to another country from the US or the UK or any of these colonial powers, the urge to colonize is strong. It doesn't matter who you are, you could have written your dissertation on the injury of colonization. You grew up in a colonization program and it's going to affect you. So you need to be ready. One of the features of colonization is a lack of curiosity, coupled with an assumption that the way you do things is the way things should be done. This shows up in your behavior, in your expectations around customer service, finances, banking, every area of your life, and you may not be aware of it. If you find yourself thinking, why do they do it like that? They should stop. They're okay. They don't need to do it your way. They've been doing it their way for quite a long time. You were not invited there for your country changing expertise. You were not invited at all. You chose to go there, which means you chose to be changed, and that's a good thing. It adds to who you are. You already know your way of doing things. Learn the way they're doing things. Once you do that, you know 2 ways. You have double the knowledge. Do not try to change them. You can't show up and change a country, and they're not going to change just because you arrived. You have to, at every point, resist the urge to colonize. And you have to be curious about the people that you now live with. Their way of doing things may be different, but it may be better. You just don't know, but you approach it with a curiosity, because the resistance to colonizing is undergirded by the assumption that there are other people in the world than you, and those people are equally important.
This is what President Trump reacts to when white people protest, and then how black people protest. The tweet is at the bottom. So I want you to pause this video and take a look at that. And once you're done reading, rewatch the video and tell me that there isn't something wrong with the judicial system and how people of color are treated. When you have a mass shooting and the perpetrator is white, what happens? They're standing, they're handcuffed, reasonably, but they're being fed and they're being hydrated. What did George Floyd do to deserve a knee being pinned down to the back of his neck for 11 plus minutes until he died? Tell me.
Look at the people who are encouraging it, and we'll keep an open mind. You know, like maybe they'll convince us. Let's watch.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore!
On January 20th, we are walking out to free America.
And walking in to remove the regime.
We're walking out of work, walking out of school.
We're walking out of anywhere and everywhere.
Because it's past time that we stop cooperating with fascism.
Starting at 2 p.m. local time, we'll start a wave of walkouts across the nation.
Send a clear message that we demand freedom from this hostile and lawless takeover of our country.
Then we'll start walking in.
Congress has the power to remove a tyrant from office. It's not an option. It's their sworn duty.
So at 3 p.m., we'll start walking in to local congressional offices to demand impeachment and removal.
Donald Trump has committed tyranny and obstruction of justice.
And turning ICE into a paramilitary force is an act of treason.
On January 20th, we are telling our congressional officials that it is their duty right now to impeach, convict, and remove.
Okay, I'm not sure, Will, whether they're going to get her done. And I also have an issue with just saying 2 p.m. local. Like, what does it mean exactly? Because, 2 p.m. here in the East is different than 2 p.m. in California, like where Brit is. I think there's going to be chaos. I'm not sure I like the planning or the faces of the movement, but what do you make of it?
No, I made sure to go and get my latte before this, just to make sure for the long lines that are going to be happening with all the baristas out of work after this.
Right.
But they obviously don't have very much organization. This is some social media marketing campaign, but all it really shows is how much of a religion all of this is to these people and how unserious they are. It's so easy to just go online and make some silly video about, oh, we're all going to walk out and we're so tough and we're so brave and we're really fighting against fascism. When in reality, look at what they're doing. They're on their phones with free speech talking about being able to be let out of their job to go and protest the president or ICE agents or whatever it is. Like, you live the most comfortable, wonderful life throughout human history ever. And you're sitting here complaining about this just solely to get virtue signaling points over other people. It's not going to be successful. It's very disorganized. And I think a lot of people are probably going to lose their jobs if they're actually serious about leaving.
Did you know that yesterday's hands-off protests were peaceful? Not because black people didn't show up, but because white people did. Hello, I'm Earl from CBU, Crackers Being Useful. And I want to get into this. I've been seeing some stuff about how peaceful the protests were yesterday, and people are correlating that with the fact that most black people stayed at home. If anything, this proves how aggressive the police are with black protesters. It has nothing to do with the protesters that didn't show up. It has everything to do with the protesters that did show up. It was peaceful because white people are treated differently by the police than black people. And another thing I want to add right here at the end is I'm seeing a lot of stuff from white folks talking about how we got to do something because they were raised white trash, they were raised poor, so on and so forth. I want you to stop for a second. If you've been telling yourself this, if you've been telling yourself that you know the black experience because you are white trash or raised poor, I need you to stop equating poverty with black people. Please. Y'all have a good day.
So to you dumb illiterate people that was probably racist too, when Black Lives Matter came out and you came out with All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, Dog Lives Matter and everything else, I ain't never screamed personally. I never screamed my life was better than yours. I said my Black Lives Matter. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Never said it was better than nobody, never said it was beneath me. No, I said we're equal and we're not being treated equally. That this country has been racist for centuries and that this is a genocide going on in 2026. I promise you that. I promise you that we are being targeted. The poor and the black. Like no other. And you people that are white, of no color clear, you guys are treated with privilege in this country. Even the poor ones are treated better than we are. That's what Black Lives Matter mean. They mean that we are equal to you guys. Thank you.
Sensitive information coming. If you are anti-Trump, please stay. Content creators and people who do not make content yet, please stay. January 20th is going to be exactly a year since Trump was inaugurated and we are having a walkout. Also keep in mind that people in power are betting on you being too scared to do anything. If you want the change, you have to take a risk. I don't care if you got a job. I don't care if you go to school. You're walking out. You have to. Please don't sit here being scared of losing your job. Meanwhile, there are people around the world who lose their rights and their lives every single day. The system that has been upheld for so long in the Trump administration are literally taking advantage of you. And if you want to push against that, you cannot be scared. You need to take the risk. You are going to go out. You are going to protest. You are going to boycott, and you are going to hit them where it hurts. And for this to work, you cannot give up when things get uncomfortable. If you don't like how we're being treated, what other countries are subjected to, you need to do something. It's so easy to have no faith and feel like this is not going to work when we don't all stick together. Your favorite creators, okay? Your friends and family, tell them about this. Encourage them to walk out, to not be scared. The administration is leeching off of you. Companies are leeching off of you. Do not give them your money. Stop spending your money. Boycott, please. And protest. Contact your representatives. Email them. And on January 20th, walk out. You need to show the people in power that you are standing on business, that you no longer want to be a part of the rat race, that you no longer want to be a puppet. Once again, this country was built off of exploitation and thrives off of exploitation. Just because we're not in the cotton picking days doesn't mean we're not still being oppressed. Resistance is the way towards change. And if this is going to work, you cannot falter. We cannot afford it. And once again, this message needs to get in front of as much people as possible. So if you are a content creator, and even if you've never made content before, please speak publicly on social media. This is our way of communicating with each other. Please talk about this. It's going to be hard and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you cannot let that hold you back. Do what you can and please be safe.
This word's spreading around right now. January 20th, there's going to be a walkout at 2 p.m. RemoveTheRegime.com is organizing this. They want people to walk out from their jobs, from school, from whatever it is they're doing, and then from 3 until 5 p.m., walk into your congressional office, whether it's local, like in a small town like mine. There's not really a whole lot that's going to happen, but I will go to the larger town next to me, Peoria, and try to make sure that people understand that we are tired of this going on. We're tired of what we're seeing ICE agents do in Minnesota. We're tired of seeing what ICE agents did in Chicago. We're tired of the regime lying to us and telling us our economy is great when all he's doing is talking about the stock market. The stock market is not a reflection of our economy. So please, January 20th, this is going to be calm. This is going to be peaceful, but people are going to step up and step out. You're going to walk out from where you work, from your school, from whatever it is you're doing, and this is going to be a peaceful protest. There's going to be no violence. This is very well organized. And again, this is being presented and organized by RemoveTheRegime.com. It's listed in the poster I've got above me.
Trump is actually a good person and he actually has decent morals and he's actually making the USA better, and let me tell you why. Just clickbait. People are still dying in Palestine. Yes, people are still dying in Palestine. There's still an ongoing genocide. And you know what's so ironic? I used to see this all over my For You page. Like all over my For You page, the comments, people's profile pictures, people's bios. And now when the trend is over, people remove it from their bios, from their profile picture, from everything. Influencers have literally stopped talking about it because they don't get clicks anymore when they talk about it, which is honestly insane because it's still ongoing. So why the hell have you removed it from your bio? Why the hell have you stopped spreading awareness? Like, just keep it in your bio. It's never that deep. So the fact that people were like talking about it when it was trending, and now when it's not trending anymore, people have just forgotten about it, act like it's still not ongoing when it is ongoing. Like, are we dumb? Like, are we not human or something? Don't repost this video. I'll be so rude. There's like, you know, if you want to repost it, it's still spreading awareness. However, I'd much rather you go search it up and then repost the actual videos where they ask for help, or the actual people in Palestine, in Gaza right now, are actually asking for help. I'd rather you repost that because that actually spreads more awareness than you think it does. So post that on your story. Do anything you want. Just please start spreading awareness.
Online, you can see the reactions, not loud anger, not chaos, but skepticism, side-eye, a quiet we've been here before. Because black Americans know that protest without strategy fails, protest without protection costs lives, and protest without consistency change nothing. A lot of people walking out today will return to normal tomorrow. Now, back to jobs, back to safety, back to comfort. But black Americans don't get to clock out of policing, or inequality. Those systems don't pause when the hashtags disappear. That's why many black Americans aren't rushing to center themselves into the movement. There is a shift happening. Less marching, less planning, more watching, more pulling back, not because we don't care, but because we've learned. We've learned that we are often used as the moral backbone of movements that forget us once we succeed. This walkout could matter. It could become something real if it turns into long-term action, real protection for the most vulnerable, and a leadership that actually includes black voices. But if it becomes another moment where black pain is referenced without black needs being addressed, then history will repeat itself again. So, America walked out. Black American is still watching, not silently, not passively, but carefully, because real change doesn't start with noise. It starts with consistency. And the real question isn't who can walk out for a day. It's who's still standing when the walkout is over. Let me hear your thoughts on the comment section. Kindly don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more commentary.